Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about the 100, episode 310, titled Fallen, which premiered Thursday, April 7th, 2016 on the CW. And guys, it is 30 minutes after the episode has finished for me, and I'm here to talk, so let's get right to it. 10-minute clock, and let's begin. So, something new that we learned in this episode. A few things happening in this episode for sure. So let's start off with Arcadia, and the focus in Arcadia is actually these City of Light pills. So we see Raven, so determined to get Allie out of her head and get rid of the chip. So she's trying to overload her body so that Allie's kind of forced out, but it's going to take true pain or true stimulus to do that. So Raven has a way to overload her body with a reverse electrocution, I think, through the wristbands that the 100 came down with back in season 1, and she tells this to Abby and Jasper. But she makes sure that Abby doesn't tell Jasper where those extra wristbands are, because then Allie will know. So Abby sends Jasper on the mission to go retrieve the wristband for Raven, but before he can do that, Allie overloads Raven with all of her pain. So we got the pain of her leg from the gunshot wound from the season 1 finale. We got Raven's pain from the drilling she experienced in the season 2 finale. We get her emotional pain from Finn's death, and it's all coming at her at full force, and it's truly agonizing to see Raven through this. And it's so much pain for her, in fact, that she submits to Allie. So Allie gets full access to Raven. Sorry, I still have my cough. So that's an issue there. So because of that, Abby is now restrained because she then finds out that Jackson is also part of the chip crowd, as I guess you can say. And they force her to take the key, the City of Light pills, when they put Raven's life at risk. Since Allie's in full control of Raven, she actually slits Raven's wrists, forcing her to bleed out to kind of provoke Abby into taking the key so that she could be released to help Raven. So now Raven's in that boat as well. So since Jasper failed to get the wristbands in time, he was actually chained up for a bit. Once he breaks free and he tries to find Abby and Raven to give it to her, he finds not only Abby part of the key followers, or the pill followers, or I'm just calling them the City of Light Kool-Aid drinkers. He runs off to try to find Raven. He sees the bandaged wrists around her, and he makes the decision that he's got to take Raven out of this. So he sedates her, and he pretty much kidnaps her. And he tries to escape with the rover. Allie sees this because she feels that sudden disconnect with Raven because she's sedated. So then all the followers are now tasked to get Raven back from Jasper. Just when Jasper is about to leave Arcadia, or just after he drives to the gate, Clark is right there. She had just arrived at home, and she's completely confused. She's all dirty from traveling through the woods, and she goes in the rover. There are guns firing at them, and this is where she learns very quickly that Lincoln is dead, that Raven's unconscious, that there's people inside Arcadia that are trying to kill them, and she's still focused on trying to find Luna. Jasper doesn't really care. He wants to get out of there before they're killed. So Clark makes the decision to help as Jasper's trying to get the rover running again. And as he's trying to do that, one of the followers opens up the back door of the car. Clark kicks him away from Raven just in time as Jasper gets the car going. But because of this, Clark actually sees her mom at the gate of Arcadia with that creepy smile on her face. So Clark is completely unaware of what is happening, especially with the City of Light pills. So I'm guessing on that drive to wherever, Jasper's got to fill her in on that. I'm sorry. Hold on. Alright, so moving on to the woods, I guess you could call it. So this is basically, I'm going to refer to them as the rebels. So everyone who escaped from Arcadia during the escape mission last episode returns to the cave, and this is where Bellamy learns that Lincoln is dead. Octavia basically disowns Bellamy after she punches him repeatedly, and he takes it. Kane tries to put a stop to it, but Bellamy tells him to stay out of it. After a few punches in, to the point that Bellamy is now on the ground, Miller tries to step in, but Bellamy tells him to back off again, that they need to deal with this. After all this, Octavia disowns him. And you can see on her shoulder, too, that I don't think we've seen it before, but she has tattoos. She has a very cool black, I think it's tattoo on her right shoulder. Yeah, her right shoulder. It looks like rune type things, but it's very cool. We don't see much of it. It's just when she's punching. It's the same scene that we've been seeing in the season 3 trailer since like Comic-Con, I think, or since like December. So that's the scene that we've kind of been angsting up to. So there's that. This shortly after that, when they're trying to figure out what their next move is, which is to kill Pike, because then hopefully the Grounders will back off and accept them again as the 13th clan. Monty radios in about Pike knowing that he helped them escape. So now Monty is trying to get out of Arcadia into safety with his friends. So a meeting is set up. They go to the meeting. Kane wanted to go alone, goes with Octavia, who refuses to let him go alone, and they use Bellamy as a prisoner because he is still considered the enemy. So they do that. They go to the dropship, which is the meeting place, only to find out that Monty is now a prisoner himself to Pike, who had followed him with his own men to see where Monty would go. So, in this little exchange, Bellamy turns on the rebels, and he tells Pike that he'll take him to the cave where all the others are, since he doesn't have the coordinates. Instead, Bellamy leads Pike and his men to the blockade line, and he basically hands the Pike over to the Grounders. Right when the horn sounds about the blockade being crossed, Bellamy takes his gun, points it at Pike, and he shouts the message to the Grounders that he hears chants of Pike from Sky Crew, and he quickly tells Octavia to translate, and she does. So we see the Grounders taking Pike back to Polis, with Kane coming along too, after he showed the 13th clan brand on his arm. So there's that. We also see Octavia very furious with the fact that she's not able to kill Pike because he has to be taken to the commander. So she kills one of the surviving guards of Pike's, saying blood must have blood. Not only does she say it, but she says it in the Grounders language, which is kind of, she truly has immersed herself in their culture for sure. So she definitely addresses that to Bellamy, and you can definitely see the very distinct difference between the two of them. One being the Archer, one being a new Grounder, in a sense, and they're both at odds with each other now, so it's very difficult to see for sure. And final part, back at Polis, we see Antari stalling with her ascension since she doesn't have the flame, since last episode Clark ran away with it. The flame being the AI chip that was in Lexa's neck, which is meant to be passed down from commander to commander. So Murphy is still Antari's prisoner, and he lies his way out of trouble for Antari, and he poses as her flame keeper, which was who Titus was before he killed himself. So throughout this whole thing, he tries to help her fake the fact that she has the flame and that she's officially the commander with all the ambassadors. And it's interesting to see Murphy trying to be the level-headed one out of the two of them, since Antari brings her own sense of craziness to the board. And we actually see some seduction between the two of them as Antari gets naked in front of him again while he's chained up with a collar, a metal collar like an animal. And she tries to seduce him. And a funny quote he said was, "The things I do to survive." Although he did bring up Amori. I will give him that. So what was the most shocking moment of the episode? For me, it's kind of tricky to try to decide which one it would be. But I have to say Bellamy being a double agent, because throughout the whole episode, I could never tell until that final moment just whose side he was on. In the cave, I'm given the impression that he's part of the rebels, even though they don't trust him, because he wants to do the right thing, or he's trying to make up for what he did when he was siding with Pike. And then you see him turn on them back at the dropship. You're like, what the hell? Is like, were you playing us this whole time? Did you really not want to save or help anybody like that? And then he turns it around again, and he turns on Pike at the blockade boundary, and he is there to hand over the guy who is the cause of all this trouble. There's the timer. So for Bellamy, bravo for the performance, for Bob Morley, for sure. I was second guessing where he stood, which for me, I love Bellamy, so it's like, it's very difficult to see him be portrayed as the bad guy when you know he's capable of being a good leader. Like, I miss season 1 Bellamy. I miss season 2 Bellamy. It's just, since Pike, Bellamy's been very difficult to like, but I'm still going to stand by him, and today he really turned things around for me. So I definitely liked it, and it was part of my shocking moment. So, moving on to top 3 favorite moments. Bellamy is a big one in this episode. Not only for that that little move he made against Octavia back at the dropship. He's bound, he's gagged, and then Octavia has her sword to his neck. The way he got out of that move, despite the fact that it was Octavia who had the sword on him, I found that truly impressive, so I really liked that. He was still capable of making a move like that, even though it pissed his sister off a lot. Also, I love Bellamy turning on Pike. It's about damn time. It's like, yes. And it was great to see him actually doing it. It's second best to Octavia actually killing Pike. But it was great to see Bellamy finally turning things around. And also, a moment I really liked was the moment between Bellamy and Monty. It was the moment Monty confessed to Bellamy that his own mother had turned him into Pike. And then Bellamy said to Monty that he's family, so they'll work through it. So the acknowledgement from Bellamy that Monty is considered part of his family was just fantastic. One of the things I truly loved in this season is the growing development between the friendship between Bellamy and Monty. I really like it. Despite whatever side they're on in this war, their development has been fantastic, and I really like that we got to see a lot more of it, since essentially in season 2 they barely had any scenes together, except for like the last 2 episodes in that 2-part finale. So it's really great to see that friendship continue to grow. Another favorite moment is Jasper kidnapping Raven, oddly enough. What I liked about it was the fact that he knew that they were in danger, and he did the one thing he could to save his friend, and that was to take her out of the situation. He had to sedate her, sure, but he knew that if she wasn't sedated, she'd fight him, and Allie would know what he was trying to do. So I like the fact that Jasper made the decision to get Raven out of the dangerous situation. That was pretty great. Bonus, they ran into Clark, because I was wondering this whole episode, where's Clark? It's like, it's always odd when you don't see any glimpses of Clark, considering she's like one of the main protagonists of the show. So it was just a little weird. So I'm glad that it was actually Jasper who ran into her, because they haven't had scenes together since the finale, I don't think. Yeah, since the finale, they haven't seen each other. Since he pretty much blamed Maya's death on Clark. So it's going to be interesting to see how they interact with each other because of that in the future. Another favorite moment for me has to be Murphy dealing with Antari's craziness. What was really fantastic about Murphy in this episode was the fact that previously, Murphy's always been, I guess you can say, the problem child, or like the troublemaker, right? But in this episode, it's like he's the reformed troublemaker turned parent, now dealing with his own kid that is the troublemaker. So it's kind of like him being karma, I guess you could say, because now he's a troublemaker, or he was a troublemaker, now he has to deal with an even worse troublemaker just to get back at the shit he pulled when he was the troublemaker. So I found it really funny. Did not mean to make the whole parent-child comparison, considering the seduction scene that happened between the two, but that's the way I viewed how Murphy was dealing with Antari, because you see him going like, I thought we talked about restraint, or saying you can't immediately go to killing people. He really took on this like advisor role towards her, even though in his defense it's to help him survive. I really like that he's not instantly agreeing, saying, okay, you go kill all these people, or yeah, okay, you could definitely take the the violent approach. So he's definitely using his head when it comes to her, and I really like that, for sure. I will say a memorable moment in this episode was Raven's brief moment when she felt all her pain again. I truly felt bad for Raven in that moment. I guess, like, because we haven't seen her dealing with the aftermath of that pain in a few episodes, it's easy to forget that was a pain she always had. Since the season 1 finale, she had the pain when she got shot in the leg, which resulted in her limp. The pain from the surgery to try to fix the limp but didn't work. The pain from the explosion at the turbines from Mount Weather, and then the drilling that happened at Mount Weather, and then Finn's death as well. They came with that. So, and then the pain from all the physical pain being brought up to her. They also forgot to do the torture scene that Raven experienced back in 2009 when she was accused of poisoning Lexa. So, in that montage, I truly felt bad for Raven and was reminded of just why she wanted to escape that pain. It wasn't actually just a physical pain she was dealing with. It was everything that Earth has caused her to suffer, I guess you could say. So that was a memorable moment for sure. It definitely had me feeling bad for Raven. But she did the whole scene where she was trying to expel Allie from her head. It was an impressive scene too for Raven, reciting all these different problems, trying to overload her brain so that no intruders can come in, the physical exertion stuff. It was fantastic to see, like, Raven, is like Raven on overdrive, I guess you could say, like, her really pushing it to the limit for her. So, I just like that. Top 3 peeved moments. Hang on. Okay, first peeved moment has to be the fact that Abby swallowed the pill. Yes, I get it, that she did it to save Raven from bleeding out, but couldn't she have faked that taking the pill? I mean, she could have easily just put it in her mouth and then hidden it under her tongue, and then been released to have freed Raven, and then when she's not being watched, take the pill out of her mouth and pretend that she swallowed it. Then again, because of the fact that Allie has a connection to every person who took the chip or the pill, then I guess that's a reason why she didn't really have a choice, that she had to take it. But I just thought that faking to swallow that pill would have been an option. Apparently not. So that's what I didn't like. The fact that it wasn't even considered. The fact that she wasn't even caught trying to not swallow that City of Light key pill thing. Another peeve moment for me was the fact that there was no reaction from Arcadia about Lincoln's death. We don't see Abby's reaction, we don't see Raven's reaction, we don't see Jasper's reaction, and we don't see Monty's reaction. Monty is probably the closest we got to seeing of a reaction, because he looked kind of forlorn in that mess hall scene just before his mom told him that he needed to go. That could be a reaction to Lincoln's death. That could be a reaction to the fact that he's worried about being discovered as a traitor. But it really bugged me that there was no reaction to the fact that Lincoln was executed in the previous episode, when he was executed inside Arcadian walls. So that just really pissed me off too. So there's that. Last peeved moment for me has to be the fact that Hannah Green, Monty's mom, turned in her own son to Pike. I mean, here I'm thinking the mom is going to cover for Monty and save his butt, since he's the only family she has left. And yet it turns out she actually does the opposite, turns him into Pike and makes a deal saying that Monty be given a clean slate, and if he does something like this again, then he's going to be punished. It's like, no, you're supposed to be protecting your son at all costs, and yet you do the complete opposite. It's like, what's the deal with that? So that just really pissed me off. Though the little goodbye scene was touching, even though they couldn't really actually say goodbye. The fact that she made a deal and turned him in was just really disappointing for sure. So what will I remember most when I look back on this episode? Raven was a big deal in this episode, so I'm definitely going to remember that for sure. I guess the capture of Pike as well. The title Fallen could refer to the fact that Arcadia has fallen under the influence of Allie and her pain-free pills, I guess you can say. So there's that. Random questions now. First one has to be, is there ever a chance that Bellamy and Octavia can reconcile? I hope so, but at this rate, it looks like Octavia is not open to that possibility. So that's sad to see, considering everything they've been through together and everything they've sacrificed for one another before this. So it's heartbreaking to see these two so at odds with each other. I just hope at some point they can reconcile. Next question. Is Kane going to be safe in Polis with Antari as the new commander? I mean, didn't she say at one point when she came in the previous episode, or 2 episodes, didn't she say that she wanted to kill all of Sky Crew? Don't know why exactly, but, so if that's the case, is Kane truly safe? And is the Alliance of the 12 Clans still in effect if Antari is the new commander? Or the supposed new commander, I should say. Don't know. Next question. Where is Amori? She's kind of indirectly referenced to in this episode through Murphy. But we haven't seen her since episode 305 when Murphy was actually taken by some grounders because of their little thieving stint between grounders on carts and on the roads and stuff. So we haven't seen or heard about her at all until she was actually referenced, but we don't know where she is. So where is she? Did she stop trying to get to Murphy or something, or what? So moving on. Next question. What is this stage 2 that Chip Abby mentioned? It doesn't really sound good. I'm afraid of what stage 2 can mean. But I have a bad feeling it's going to be something irreversible. And it's just very creepy, all these Chip version of people. It's like drones and motionless and whatnot. It's creepy. Next question. Do you think King Rowan would help Clark get to Luna, or does he really want Antari to be the new commander? I have no idea with King Rowan. Never know where he truly stands. We do know that he told Clark that he's going to stand by Antari because she's Ice Nation. But saying something could be completely different from what you're actually thinking. So what exactly is going on in King Rowan's head in regards to Antari trying to take the commander position? So there's that. Last question. After seeing what is happening with Raven, do you think Jasper is still considering the City of Light chip key pill things? Or is that completely off the table for him now? Is he willing to still endure the pain that he feels from losing Maya? Is he still willing to have that pain so that he doesn't lose her memories? Or is he willing to lose everything lose everything of Maya to stop feeling the pain he's feeling? So, I guess we'll see. Sorry. So moving on to predictions. It's definitely going longer than I thought. I do apologize. But based off the promo for episode 311, we see Clark, Bellamy, Octavia, and Jasper are shown trying to help Raven get that chip thing out of her. And it looks like Raven tries to kill herself at one point to keep the delinquents from having her. Allie's orders from the looks of it. And there's actually a shot of Clark apparently getting ready to cut into Raven's neck, which is scary. So there's that. Based off the synopsis for the episode, however, we see Allie forcing Raven's dark side to emerge. Apparently Monty has to make a split-second decision. We see Jasper's anger growing, and it looks like Octavia struggles with finding her place in the world now that Lincoln is no longer with her. So there's that. So overall predictions, I'd have to say I'm definitely excited for this delinquent reunion that we're going to have. The last time we had a scene like this was back in the premiere in the Rover. So, and unfortunately Clark wasn't there. So that scene would have been perfect if Clark was there too. But hopefully this next episode, we are actually going to see Clark, Bellamy, Octavia, Jasper, Raven, and Monty together, the original star delinquent group. Maybe Miller and Brian are also there too. That would be a bonus. Harper as well, to add them into that little piece of a reunion. But the fact that Clark is going to be seeing basically everyone she considered family before leaving on her isolated wood vacation, I guess you can call it, after Mount Weather and before this whole Polis thing happened. She's going to see the people she considered family for, people she considered killing to protect. So I can't wait for that reunion for sure. Also, I predict that it's a possibility that Clark could put the commander's flame chip into Raven in hopes of it overriding the chip that Allie has in Raven, because of the shot of Clark getting ready to cut into Raven's neck, because I don't think the regular chip that Allie is dishing out would be found in their neck. It's just some ingestible thing, and then it gets incorporated into their bloodstream or something like that. I don't think it's an actual thing that can be found in the neck like the flame chip that Lexa had in hers. So the only reason I could think of for why Clark would cut into Raven's neck is to put that flame chip into her. Then again, a friend of mine kind of told me that Clark is more likely to take that flame chip so that she can reunite with Lexa in the Commander's City of Lights, I guess you could call it. Then again, those behind-the-scene photos of Eliza and Alicia being in a place with skyscrapers around them, it doesn't really help when trying to figure out where things are happening right now. So there's that. Also, the search for Luna has to continue. Maybe Clark will ask for Octavia for help in regards to this. Depends on Octavia's going to not be angry at Clark, or if she's going to want to go down that road, because that's where Lincoln wanted to go beforehand with Octavia. But are we going to see her before the season ends? Luna? Who knows? Hopefully we do. Maybe it's that split second moment we get before the finale truly ends. We see Luna, maybe. But there's that. And also, I am still waiting for my Bellark hug. The one with Bellamy and Clark actually wanting to hug each other like we've been seeing since the first season 3 promo premiered in December. I'm still waiting for that hug. So, yeah. So, that's about it for predictions. So, move on very quickly to Mel's top 5 favorite episodes. Eventually, at some point, I'm going to be posting this list just so that you can actually see it and maybe in a little explanation as to why. But for now, here's the list of what it was last week. So, this week, for top 5 ship-oriented or ship-focused for episodes, unfortunately, this episode does not make the top 5. It's actually going to be put at number 9 because of the fact there was no actual ship focused in this episode. Yes, you see kind of the start of Murphy and Antari, but it's a little crazy at the moment. So I'm on the fence about them. I don't know if I like them. I don't know if I hate them. It's just really in your face at the moment for sure. Murphy definitely can't resist, that's for sure. But I like him and Amori together, so that's kind of a little conflict there. So this episode is at number 9 for that list. Now, in regards to non-ship focus, top 5 episode, unfortunately, again, this episode comes in at number 6 because of Raven. She definitely didn't drug Lincoln to death, that's for sure. But she's right below that one. So, that's about it. So what did you guys think of the episode? What did you like about it? What did you think was going to happen? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. Also, if you want more information about the 100, whether it's promos, web clips, sneak peeks, quotes, GIFs, anything like that, check out my Tumblr page. Links for that will be down below. You got one link that is for episode 310 specifically, and then you got another link that brings you to a page that has all the tags related to the 100. For that link, click it and then scroll to the very bottom, and then that is the section for the 100. So there is that. Also, I'm currently working on my own website where you can find absolutely everything on it. So I'm trying to work out the kinks for that, but it was needed for my online course, so I gotta wait for that to be graded before I can do any changes. So be on the lookout for that. I'll definitely let you guys know. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. So sorry for the quality of my voice. I'm still coughing like crazy, which is a nightmare, but I'm trying to work through it. But I really wanted to record and give you my thoughts shortly after the episode aired. Also, sorry for the length of this video. I didn't think it was going to be so long, but there's so much to talk about as well. But I hope you guys tune in next week to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, this is Mel wishing you a great day, a great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.